The reason why I wanted to create this video was when I saw a story of a random guy stealing a ball from a little girl during a baseball game. I don't like judging people verbally on their looks and rating them on a scale, saying he's sub 5, he's sub 3, he's 7 out of 10 on the lookism spectrum. But we must come to reality and agree that he doesn't look that good. Skinny fat body, long weird looking beard. He's wearing a hat, so there's a chance he could be balding. I mean, he looks like a Reddit moderator. He is sub 5 in looks. Having this observation on his appearance is important later to the story. This observation and story made me curious a lot, as to the person who stole the ball had to make a public apology, as he was getting death threats, he was experiencing social isolation and social death due to that clip. And the apology video, oh my god, it is brutal.
You know, if I could do it all over again, I would have just grabbed it, given it to her, and been done with it. No, and I appreciate that from Evelyn. Thank you so much for saying that, and thank you to their whole family. That means a lot to me. It's been a rough 24 hours, 36 hours saying that.
What did you learn from this, man?
Don't try to catch the ball. Don't go after the ball if you don't catch it. A lot of people have said a lot of really mean things. You know, I've handled it. I've tried to block it out and get away from it. Yeah. But you know, people find a way to say stuff and try to get in contact with me. I just, you know, I hope that people in the city, you know, and people here in Cleveland and Guardians fans and everybody can, you know, forgive me.
This apology is like he killed a person, like he committed a mass extinction on a different race or ethnicity. And this pissed me off, kinda, because every single passing day I see that looks play such an important part in society, to the point that your faults, your misdeeds and negative traits will be treated in a higher moral codex the worse you look. The reason why I came to this conclusion is because of the legendary story of Jeremy Meeks. To recap, he beat up a child, he was involved in assault and armed robbery, and what happened after he was released, he became a model because of his looks. His life is set. He made it. Countless of sponsors, countless of modeling contracts, acting roles in certain movies. But the baseball robber guy, I think that his life is over because this went public. I bet he lost his job if he had any. I bet that his businesses aren't doing good anymore. Modeling contracts for Meeks, social exclusion for the ball thief. One beats up a child, the second takes the ball. The justice given is so unfair and unproportionate. To be fair though, Jeremy Meeks served time in prison, but his future is set. And what is the metric that decides that? Looks. Your genetic makeup. People who are genetically inferior are treated in a higher moral standard. They have to overcompensate in life to be treated with the same amount of respect as the genetically gifted. I'm not saying that you're cooked or that it is over if your genetics do not complement you, as because there is always a factor of work that you can do to improve your life, especially economically nowadays. But I'm saying that you have to work harder in life to achieve respect, to achieve the same level as the genetically gifted. This entire scene between the baseball guy and Meeks reminded me of a very controversial idea, the science of eugenics. Eugenics is a theory of trying to improve the human race by controlling reproduction. Basically, better genes get reproduced, and inferior and undesirable genes are being removed from the gene pool. That is why women love taller men. That is why men love attractive women. That is why women love men with broad shoulders, and that is why men love women with big breasts and a beautiful bottom. Because all of that shows better genetic and reproductive value, and every organism operates in that fashion. Women fraud their genetic makeup with, you guessed it, makeup, to reproduce with higher quality men. That is why looks maxing exploded in the manosphere, because men started frauding their genetic makeup to reproduce with higher quality women. Why? Because all of us are subconsciously eugenic, like that or not. All of us want to procreate with better looking individuals. It is just that we all virtue signal and pretend like looks and our mating strategies do not matter. All of society functions that way. You can call it unethical, you can call it unmoral, but society subconsciously wants to get rid of inferior traits. The traits they find inferior. That is why they find every single excuse to remove them from procreating. That is why when you fuck up as a man, but are short or physically not good looking, you will be judged harsher and would be socially outcasted either as a goof, nice guy, or as a predator and a threat. There was a trend where women posted their boyfriends and their icks on the internet. And for a long time I asked myself, how do you find it an ick that your boyfriend has a nap in the middle of the day? How do you find it an ick that your boyfriend wears sandals? How is it an ick that your boyfriend smiles? And then I figured it out. It is to find an excuse to not reproduce with them and to put the blame on them. Because deeply, their genetics aren't fit for reproduction in their head. That is why when a woman who I find to be my potential romantic partner tells me that I'm a good friend, I find that deeply insulting. I am good enough of a man to be used, but not good enough to be a romantic partner. In other words, my character and identity are a positive, but my genes aren't fit for reproduction with that woman. Living as a sub-5 male is a curse. It is no coincidence to me that most sub-5 men are shy or introverted or have some weird quirks and behavioral patterns, as when they try and do something in life, they're being looked and judged harsher than when a better looking man does it. I remember when I started training, I started overcompensating for my inferior genetics by going to the calisthenic parks, just total gym selling. And one friend from a friend of mine started insulting me in a joking manner. He said, "What is the point of training if you're still short? Society, people around you want to keep you framed. They want to remind you who you really are. They want to keep you where you belong. They don't like seeing you improve because your improvement means faking your genetic position in the hierarchy." He saw me as someone lesser than him. I was shorter and looking worse than him. Then he saw me improving, focusing more on my appearance. And he subconsciously hated that. If I was good looking and taller from the start, I wouldn't be judged like I was. That is why I am introverted in real life, and I would never talk about these topics on my channel to other people, because I was treated harshly before, and that mental trauma and conditioning made me shy and introverted. Imagine if I was a Chad, and I still have interests as I have now. I wouldn't be judged as of now. I'd be talking about eugenics, the black pill, red pill. I'd be more direct, and people wouldn't test me and lower me down in the social hierarchy to this extent as to now. I wouldn't be so careful choosing my words and how I talk to other people, because I will be a Chad. Nobody would test me. I notice sometimes how people treat me today, and I compare it to how I was treated before. Women avoided eye contact with me and treated me as I was invisible. But today, I at least get some glimpses down my way. Women smile when they realize that I noticed that they were tracking me out. It is just that I have so much leftover trauma from being a sub-5 that I struggle to interact with them. Living as a sub-5 man is a curse, because their issues of intimacy are overlooked. Their lack of love is treated as something they deserve. When inferior men express being lonely and sad, that gives society an excuse to say they probably did something to deserve it. I do not want to make this video as woman against men, like the typical gender war goy slob drama, but from my own observation, when women are lonely, they get a lot of support, but when men are lonely, they're literally treated as dogs. You can see it in the AI response on the internet. When a woman is lonely, it says that they are worthy, they are a positive light in this world. Being lonely is a signal that something great will happen. You just haven't found your right frequency with the right people. But the response for men is, be prepared for loneliness. Men build themselves in loneliness. You should train and earn money and become the best man possible. You should become a Sigma male. You should conquer this planet. It is just insane to me. You need to improve your life to stop feeling lonely, because your genetic makeup didn't allow you to have a romantic partner from the start. Hey, Swen Livin. But there are countless of sub-5s who are happy, who have families and have kids, who are winning at life. The things you said in this video are downright delusional and the things you said in this video are downright delusional and out of touch with reality. So can I touch your feet? Guys, yes, I'm aware, but to me the way how you got there has the same importance as you being there. Example. Everyone thinks that having a girlfriend is an achievement nowadays. Wow, you got a girlfriend, you must be winning in life. But the way how you got the girlfriend is sometimes much more important than having her. Did she choose you for you? Or did you have to gesture max? Did you have to throw a lot of money on the table and resources just for her to accept you? Did you have to walk all over your own values for her to even look at your way? I have some friends that I just know think I'm inferior compared to them because I currently don't have a girlfriend. They don't say it, but I notice it in their behavior towards me. I notice it in their body language and the tone of them speaking to me. They act superior because they have a girlfriend and I don't. You are a pathetic, spineless loser. I remembered you before you had a girlfriend. You were more wild, more authentic, but you had to step over your own values and change completely just to get some pussy. You had to pull ties, you had to gesture, you had to reject many people around you. You had to do so much just to end up with a below average chick. What an achievement, bro. You abandoned your original friend group. You abandoned your friends. You abandoned your friend group. I have a friend who got a girlfriend by giving her free drugs. Like, damn, bro. Damn, bro, she loves you for you, bro. It is definitely not the fact that she uses you for your drugs, man. Like, not at all. Like, congrats, bro. How you got there is more important than you being there. There are so many sub-5s who have a wife and kids, yes, I know that. But they are treated as wallets. They are treated like dogs. They grind and grind and grind and get a good paying job, and magically a 27-year-old woman spawns in their life who is ready to get married. That is how you end up in a dead bedroom marriage. She is with you for the resources, but not for you. That is why many women cheat, because they do not like the genetic makeup of those men who provide. Beta boxing. This line of thinking pushed me towards the topic of war, warfare and combat, as I now understand. I understand why leaders, politicians, presidents and people in power create wars out of nothing. It is to morally eliminate the sub-5s, to send them to a meat grinder with the promise that they're fighting for the greater good. You see, when you have a society with a lot of misplaced men, with no future, no wives, no kids, no future. In other words, expendable men. Your country will internally collapse. Chaos, riots, higher crime rates, instability, no morals, no higher value, no family value. They are dangerous. They are dangerous. That is why women are the great stabilizers of society. That is why women are much more important than men in biology and society, because they know how to tame the wild beasts. That is why it is a meme when someone says that their mom nerfed their dad. Because women know how to fix a man, but they wouldn't do it if it's an inferior sub-5 man. And what happens then? You have a lot of free roaming and dangerous and jealous and envious men roaming the streets, causing internal damage to your country. How do you fix it? Remove them. Create a reason to start a war. Promise them a better future and a family when they return. Of course. If they return. Some men are just born to be cannon fodder, man. You can call it inhumane, unmoral, unjust, unethical and so on, but I see some morality in it. If you want to have a functioning society, if you want to have a functioning country, some people have to be the sacrifice. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Great states are founded with violence and maintained by necessity. We are just pawns, sitting on a chessboard waiting to be used, not being able to see in front of us. What can you, the viewer, take from this video? Improve as much as you can. Looks max, money max, status max, IQ max. Do whatever it takes. Fraud if you have to. Try and break away from the sub-5 shackles. Focus on your mental health. Find a passion that you do for you. This video might have been a little harder to intake compared to some of my older videos, but knowing how this world operates, it brings me peace. And I believe that it will bring peace to you as well. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.